Good day folks, Nigel here again, and in my tutorial today I'll be installing Active Directory Domain Services, also DNS server in Windows Server 2008 as I create a domain. So let me outline quickly that Active Directory Domain Services, or ADDS, stores directory data and manages communication between users and domains, including user logon processes, authentication, and directory searches. An Active Directory Domain Controller is a server that is running ADDS. A domain name system, or DNS, is an internet service that translates domain names into IP addresses. For example, the domain name www.google.com translates to 74.125.229.180. A DNS server is any computer registered to join the domain name system, runs special purpose networking software, features a public IP address, and contains a database of network names and addresses for other internet hosts. Okay, so let's begin. So we open up our machine where we have Windows Server 2008 installed. We click Start and we open Server Manager, where we proceed to open the Add Roles wizard. And click Next. Here we select the Active Directory Domain Services option. Click Next. Here is some more information on the use of Active Directory Domain Services, things to note, and also additional information. Click Next. Here is some more information saying the server would need to be restarted after the installation completes. Also, DC promo is needed to make the server a fully functional domain controller. So right here we click Install. So here we see the Active Directory Domain Service has installed successfully. Now we're going to launch DC Promo, which is really the wizard that sets up Active Directory and promotes a machine to domain controller status. So we click here and we start DC Promo. So we click Next, click Next again. Here we are creating a new domain and a new forest, seeing that there wasn't any existing. And click Next. So here we type in a fully qualified domain name. So I'm going to type eronido.com and click Next. Now it's checking whether the new forest name is already in use. Now we're going to set the forest functional level. We're going to choose Windows Server 2008 and click Next. Here we can be selecting additional options for the domain controller. Here we click Next. Now this is saying that static IP addresses are needed for the network adapters for reliable DNS operation. So I'll proceed to do that. You right click on the network icon, select Network and Sharing Center, Manage Network Connections, double click on the network icon, check Properties. You uncheck the IPv version 6. That's not needed. You select IPv version 4, click on Properties, and then you type in the following IP addresses: 192.168.0.2. Subnet mask will automatically generate. Default gateway, which is my router, leave it at that. 192.168.0.1. Prefers DNS server and the back address. So allow the server to point back to itself. Click OK. Close. And then you continue as normal with the installation. Click next. And click yes. Now what we're seeing here is where the database folders. Click next. Now we're going to type in a password. Next. So all the information pertaining to this domain we can export to a text file. Save. And we continue. Click next. And now here it's waiting for the DNS installation to finish. I'm going to check with boot on completion. So there's a shortcut to this procedure. So instead of going into Server Manager and adding role, you could just click Start, All Programs, type in DC Promo, and you'll see it come up here. And you run it, and it will automatically install the Active Directory domain services. So you could skip that entire process and go through DC Promo. And so here the wizard is configuring Active Directory domain services. As you can see, this process can take from a few minutes to several hours. So you'll see how long it takes here. Called core speed, right, Mr. Kudugan? So the machine has rebooted. So now we're gonna log on. As you can see here is erinider/administrator, which shows that the domain is active. Right, the initial configuration task is up. So we can see here, full computer name, server 2008.erinider.com, domain is erinider.com, network has been configured, 2 roles installed, Active Directory domain services and DNS server. So now I'm going to close this, which will automatically open Server Manager. Now you could also access Server Manager from the Start menu right here. So you're going to go into roles, expand DNS server, expand DNS, and expand server, where we'll see the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Now the forward lookup zone is how the network uses DNS to determine the IP address associated with one's domain name. And inversely, the reverse lookup zone is how the network uses DNS to determine the domain name of one's IP address. So I'm going to click on reverse lookup, right click and click on new zone, another wizard again, click next, you continue primary zone as defaults. The second option here, toward DNS servers in its domain, erinider.com, click next. Since we didn't choose the IP version 6, since that's not available yet, we will stay with IP version 4, reverse lookup zone. Click next. Now we'll type in our network ID 192.168. It's not 0. And click next. Now this option here, we're going to allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates for this tutorial. If you want more security, you can choose the first option and click next and finish. Now we go to the forward lookup zone. Open it up. You right click on the server 2008 option here. Go into properties, and we're going to check the update associated pointer PTR record. Now the PTR record is what allows you to do a reverse lookup. And this record lists the IP addresses and points them to your domain name. So we're going to check this and click apply and click OK. Now if you look at the reverse lookup zone again, you'll see that pointer is here. You see the IP address 192.168.0.2 is pointing to the server.errornado.com. So what we're going to do now is start command prompt, which you can access from the start menu, and launch Nslookup. Now Nslookup is basically a command line administrative tool for querying, testing, or troubleshooting a DNS server. Alright, so we're going to start Nslookup, where you can see our default server and a local host. So what I'm going to do now is a reverse lookup by typing in the IP address. Alright, so we can see the server name and also the address. And we're going to do a forward lookup, which is typing in the, well actually I already copied it, so I'm just going to paste it, of the domain name. And here we can see everything is in order. So we can see that the DNS server is fully functional. Forward lookup and reverse lookup, everything is copacetic. So hope this brings me to the end of my tutorial. This is Nigel Doyle, and I'm out. One is one.